and welcome to session 5 of our cardiac rehab stand-in series. We've moved on now from session 4, we're pushing on a little bit more and we're going to up the time and up the intensity a little bit for session 5. So we've worked our way through the series. We started with session 1 at 10 minutes of exercise, session 2 with 12 minutes, session 3 15 and session 4 was around 19 minutes. So today we're going to do 24 minutes of cardiovascular exercise. So we've broken that down into 12 exercises. We're going to do them for 1 minute each and we're going to repeat those exercises twice round, gradually increasing the intensity as we move through the circuit today. So the same thing as always, ensure your space is nice and clutter-free. We're not using many things today. I've got a dining chair, but I'm probably not going to use it for the workout, but you might need one for your workout. I've got some small weights. I've got my tins of beans, but you can use your dumbbells, your tins of beans, your tins of tomatoes, bottles of water or resistance bands. And I've also got a step-up box again for this workout. You don't have to use it for this workout if you haven't got one. You can use a bottom step as long as you've got something to hold on to if you get a little bit wobbly. Again, only complete the exercises if you're feeling well enough to do so. If you've got any concerns, please speak to the cardiac rehab team prior to exercising. And please make sure you give the following safety information a good read. Okay, so now we've read the safety information, it's time to get warmed up. So similar to what we did last time, let's start with a march on the spot. So really important to get warmed up before these workouts. Like I say, this workout for today, we're going to push on a little bit more. So we need to make sure that the body's ready for some exercise. We want to get the heart rate up a little bit, get the breathing rate up a bit, the body a bit warmer, the muscles a bit warmer, and that coronary blood flow we want to increase as well to prevent any problems when we're exercising. As always, if you've been prescribed a GTN spray or inhalers or anything like that, keep them with you and follow the correct protocols if you do need to use them. So we're just starting with a nice light march, feeling nice and comfortable at this moment in time. And in a moment, we're going to add in some shoulder rolls. Okay, so let's take 10 shoulder rolls backwards whilst keeping the march going. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and one more. That's 10. Let's go 10 forwards now then. That's 1, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and one last one. That's 10. Okay, give the arms a bit of a shake. Now let's go into the heel digs. So we'll take the heels forwards and backwards. Now you may have moved on to this session from the previous session after you found that one quite comfortable or a bit easy. So the same thing applies here. See how you find this session. We'll give various levels for each exercise. You can pick the harder or the easier levels for the exercises. And if you find that actually once you've worked your way through the harder exercises, it still feels a bit too comfortable, then we'll move on to the next session. If you find that it's challenging, or you start off with the easier versions of the exercises and they're challenging, next time increase the intensity to slightly harder versions, add some weights in, and once you find that that's comfortable and you're RPing below 13 for the majority, then move to the next one. Equally, if it's too challenging and the lower levels are still a bit challenging, move back to the previous exercises. Okay, so let's add in the bicep curl now with these steps. No weights for the warm-up. We're just gradually increasing that pace. So we want the RPE score for the warm-up to be around 11. And then for the main part of the workout, around 13, 14, so somewhat hard. You can feel like you're doing something, but you can still talk in full sentences. You're not completely out of breath. If you're finding that you're getting to that point, slow down a little bit. Take the pace down, take the weights out, take it to a steady walk. As always, avoid stopping all of a sudden. If you need a rest, slow it down to a steady walk. Have a sip of water if you need to. Let's keep those feet going, and then in a moment we're going to change the arms into a chest press. So we're going to take the hands up to shoulder height, palms facing forwards, push forwards and backwards. Just a nice controlled movement with this one. Take it to the pace that you feel comfortable with. Warming up, we shouldn't be too out of breath. If you find that you're getting too out of breath, slow it down. Take the pace down a little bit, take the arms out. Okay, and then in a moment we're going to take it out into the side tap. Starting with the right leg first. Okay, let's tap out to the side now then, and back in. Just tapping those toes to the side, wherever it is comfortable for you. You haven't got to overstretch on these. But as the warm-up's going through, we're just going to slightly pick up the pace a little bit. Nice and light on the toes on this one. If you do need to hold onto a chair for support, that's absolutely fine. And then in a moment, we're going to add the arm across the body. So as we tap out, we push the arm across the opposite side of the body. So if we start with the right arm, we'll go across, and then the left arm. Just nice and relaxed. We're not pushing too far or with too much force on this one. If that's a bit difficult as you step out, you can do a side raise instead. If it's uncomfortable to go across the body, take it out into a side raise. Pick whichever one suits you. And that's the same with the exercises as we move through. We'll give variations of each exercise, so pick the level that feels right for you. Okay, so in a moment we're going to take it back to the march. I'm going to have a bit more of a swing in the arms and pick the pace up just a little bit more. Okay, so let's bring it back to the march now. Gradually increasing the pace as we work through the warm-up. If you can start to lift the knees just that little bit higher, by all means do so. But if it's not too comfortable, then keep the knees a little bit lower. Okay, let's go back to the shoulder rolls then. 10 shoulder rolls backwards. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1 more. There's 10. Okay, let's go 10 forwards now. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1 more. That's 10. Okie doke. So let's take it back into the heel digs now then. Right heel first. Just a tiny bit faster than the first time round. And if you can, try and repeat these exercises, these different sessions a few times per week. Add in a few walks during the week as well if you can do. So it's really going to help improve your fitness and your strength. And in a moment we're going to add those bicep curls back in again. Okay, so as we tap the feet forwards, let's add those curls back in. Should start to feel a little bit warmer now. Feel like your breathing rate's increased a little bit, heart rate's increased a little bit, but you should still feel comfortable. In a moment, we're going to change the arms and put into that chest press again. Okay, so let's bring the hands up, palms forwards, and push forwards. So forwards and backwards, nice steady movement. We're not holding the arms out for too long. Shoulder height is fine, but if you need to go lower, go lower. And then in a moment, we're going to take it back into the side tap. Let's take the right leg out first then, and left leg. Nice and light on the toes and the knees. Slight bend in the knees as you're doing this one. Let's pick the pace up just a little bit now again. Keeping those feet moving. And then for one last time in a moment, we'll add those side raises back in as well. Okay, so as we tap out, let's add those side raises in. Just to wherever's comfortable. You can keep your arms straight, raise in and lower them, or you can have a slight bend in the arms. Don't need to go any higher than shoulder height for this one, but if that's uncomfortable, you can take the arms a little bit lower, or again, we can go across the chest. Whichever works for you. Okay, let's take it into one last march then. And as we do the march, give the arms a bit of a shake. And let's give the wrists 10 rotations. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, let's give it a shake. Let's do 10 on the foot then. So 5 one way, 5 the other. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 the other way. Bit of clicking's normal. It's a bit of air escaping from the joint as long as it's not painful. If it's painful, pop the foot down. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And 5 the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Perfect. Okay, so we're ready for some exercise now then. So we're going to do 12 different exercises for a minute each, rest in between, and then we're going to repeat that twice round. So I'm going to explain what we're doing in the rest period for the next exercise. So first exercise that we're going to start with then is a squat. We've done these a few times. We've used the back of the chair for them. We've done a mini squat. We've done a sit to stand. They're all different variations. So let's try either holding onto the chair or arms across the chest. We're going to bend down and up. We're keeping the heels flat on the floor for this one, pushing all that weight through the legs, okay? That's where we're going to start. Okay, so feet hip distance apart, chest nice and upright, pushing all the weight down through the heels. Okay, let's go. So again, if you want to take it to a mini squat, you can take it to a mini squat. You don't have to do the full squat. You can take it back down to a sit to stand if you need to. Or you can do it without the chair. Arms across the chest, elbows up, down and up. Pick the level that suits you. When we come back round through this circuit, we're going to add a little bit extra onto this squat if we can do. Trying to keep those heels flat on the floor at all times if you can do. Driving down, all that weight down through the heels. Arms wherever comfortable. We've got 5 seconds left. Brilliant. Okay, so as you're resting, keep that march going, don't stop. So the next one we're going to do, we can use weights or without weights, whichever you prefer. We're going to do 2 side steps with 2 side raises. So as we go out, we take the arms out and back to the middle. Okay, let's start to the right. 2 steps out and 2 steps back. Arms raising and lowering on this one. If you want to make it harder, you can hold on to a weight. You can use your tins of beans or your light dumbbells. But you don't have to use a weight for this one, you'll still feel it working without the weight. Pick the level that suits you for this. And when we come next time round to this one, if you want to add a weight in, you can do. 2 side steps and 2 side raises. We've got 20 seconds left. ...5 seconds. and back into that rest. Catch your breath. Next one, you can use the back of the chair if you wish to for a bit of support. We're going to go into the back lunges. So foot goes back, knee goes down to the floor. Foot back, knee down to the floor. Feet roughly hip distance apart. And let's begin. If it's difficult to get the knee down, just take it back into a step. Pushing those toes backwards, that's fine. But if you can, try and push that knee down just a little bit. If you can, try and keep the front knee behind the front toe. So we're not pushing forwards, we're pushing the back knee down. And again, you don't have to use the chair for this one if you don't want to. Pick the level that you feel comfortable with. Don't forget, we're aiming for that RPE of around 13 to 14. So you feel like you're doing something, but it's not too hard and you're not too out of breath. You can still hold a conversation. We've got 5 seconds left. Okay. So the next one, we're going to go into the chest press with the heel dig. So we did these for the warm-up, but we're going to add a small weight in if you can do. Forwards and backwards. Forwards and backwards. Okay, let's begin then. Right heel forwards, arms forwards. So we've knocked the time down for each of these individual exercises on this session, but we're doing them twice round. So you can do that with the previous sessions if you wish to. If you want to do a couple of times round on those, you're more than welcome to. Or if you do need to drop the time down a little bit on the previous sessions, that's fine. Work within your levels for these. If you start off with a weight and you find that it's too heavy, drop the weight down and then just use the arms. If it's still too much, take the arms out and take it back down to that heel dig. We've got 5 seconds. Okay. Have a sip of water if you need to. Don't forget to keep the toes moving. Next one, then we're going to do the butt kicks with the bicep curl with the arms. So as we go up and down, we're curling the arms. If you do need to hold onto a chair, you can do. You can take the arms out, pick your level. Okay, let's start with the right leg. We're curling them up and down. Pick a speed that suits you. Just bend your leg to wherever's comfortable. If you do need to hold onto the chair for support, you can do it holding onto the chair, slowing it down a little bit, taking the knee to wherever's comfortable. If you want to make it harder still, add a weight into the hands. So we're nice and light on the toes on this one. Should feel your legs working a bit now. We've got 10 seconds left. Okay, back into that rest. Take some nice deep breaths. Now for the next one, we're going to do a march on the spot, or you can do a shuttle walk up and down your room or your hall or whatever space you have available. So let's take it into a march with a drive with the arms this time. Okay, let's begin then. So obviously the more you drive your arms, the faster you move, the more you're going to work on this one. You can slow the pace down if you need to, or you can pick the pace up if you want to. If it feels quite easy and you want to take it into a light jog, just nice and steady on those toes, we can do that, or we can take it back into the march. We've got 30 seconds left. Let's keep that going for 15 seconds. Doing really well. And that's 1 second. Okay, let's take it back into that rest. So we're just keeping those feet moving. And the next one then, let's take it into your next exercise. So we're going to do a front raise, which we can do with the weights. Oh, excuse me. With the weights, and as we do it, we're going to step forwards, okay? So let's raise those arms up and down, step forwards and backwards. If it's difficult to coordinate with the step, you can either just do the step, or you can take the step out and just do the arms, or you can do it with a march. Ideally, try and keep the feet moving if you can. You don't have to use the weights again for this one. You can do it without the weights if needs be. Okay, so we're raising and lowering those arms. We're not keeping them up too high. Almost there. Brilliant, back into that rest. So catch that breath, keep the toes wiggling, keep the toes moving. Okay, so the next exercise, we're going to do your half jack, which we've done a few times before. So we're stepping out and we're raising the arms. If you want to just take it into the step, you can do, but if you can add the arm in, try and do so. Okay, let's start on the right leg. Again, if it's difficult for you to get your arm over your head, you can push the arm in front. And if you want to make it harder, you can add the weight into this one. Just use a small weight when you're going overhead. And again, you can take the speed faster or slower. We're halfway. Let's keep this going for another 10 seconds. Okay, so the next exercise we're going to do is your wall press, which again you've probably done before if you've done the previous workouts. Hands start at shoulder height on the wall, feet hip distance apart, and we're going to go down and up. Elbows go out. Stop a couple of inches before the wall. Okay, let's start. So if you've done these before in the previous workouts and you've found them quite easy, then take the feet back a little bit. So you're pushing a little bit more weight on your toes on this one. It's going to give you a good workout for the chest muscles, but equally if that feels too much, then bring the feet back in. You can also make this one a bit harder by doing it on a lower surface, so something like a worktop, but make sure you've got a good grip so your hands don't slip forwards. And again, keeping that breathing nice and relaxed throughout, don't hold your breath at any point. Let's keep that going. We've got 5 more seconds. Fab. Okay, catch that breath again. Next exercise we're going to do is the step up. So we've done this one already. We can use the step up box or we can use the bottom step. We can use weights if we want to. We're going to step up and curl the arms up. Okay, let's start right leg first. If it's too difficult to do it with the weights, take the weights out of it. You can also do it just with the hands beside you if it's a bit difficult to coordinate with the bicep curl. Pick the level that suits you. Okay, let's change your lead leg, so let's lead with the left leg now. Start stepping up first and then bring the bicep curl in. If you haven't got a step up box, you can still do these on the floor, just stepping forwards and backwards. Okay, so whilst you're resting, the next one we're going to do is a calf raise, which we've done already. We've held onto a chair and we've raised and lowered the calves onto the toes and back down, okay, lifting the heels off the floor. So we're going to start with this. This is the first part. If you find this a bit too easy, what we're going to do is we're going to go from a calf raise down and add the knee raise. Calf raise and then lift the other knee, okay? So that's the next level on this one. If you want to just stick with the calf raise for this minute, and then when we come back round to it next time, add the knee raise in, that's fine. So we're lifting and lowering onto those, up and down, onto the toes, lifting and lowering the heels off the floor. Keeping your chest nice and upright for this one. Okay, we've got another 10 seconds. Like I say, if you want to do the calf raise and the knee raise, you can do, but if not, we'll save that for next time. Okay. So the last one in this round then, and then we're going to go back again. So we're going to do a step with a knee drive. Okay, so we're going to step forwards and lift the knee and then step back, okay? So with your left leg, step forwards, drive the right knee through, bring the left leg back, okay? So we're going up and down. So left foot goes forward, right knee comes through, left foot goes back. So for this one, your left leg at the moment is just tapping forwards and backwards, whilst your right knee is driving through. Now you can take this on a little bit faster, a bit of a stronger march if you want to make it a bit harder, but pick whichever level suits you. If you want to slow it down, you can do. Okay, I'm going to switch and change to the other leg now, so let's drive through with the left leg this time. Okay, so the right leg is tapping forwards and backwards, and the right knee is driving through. You can do this on a step-up box if you've got one, if you want to make it a bit harder. But if not, this is going to work just as good doing it on the floor. Perfect, okay, so that's the first round done of each of those exercises. So we're going to go back round to the squat, and we're going to try and do this one without holding on now. Down and up, and if we can do, let's add in an upright row, so we can hold one weight as we squat down and up, we bring the weight up. Let's go. Down, bring the weight up. Bring the weight up, sticking those elbows upwards as we're doing it. Keeping the chest nice and upright and the heels flat on the floor. If you can't do it with the upright row, that's fine. Just do the squat, or if you still need to hold on to the chair, hold on to the chair and do a mini squat. If it's too easy with one weight, add two weights in. So if you want to hold a weight in each hand, you can do it with a weight in each hand, down and up. Pick the level that's right for you. And again, if it gets too difficult, you can pop the weights down. You can do it without the weights, or you can take the upright row out and just take it to a mini squat. Okay, don't forget to keep those toes moving as you're having that quick rest. And now we're going to go back into the side step with the side raise. So 2 to the right, and then 2 to the left. You can add a weight in again if you want to make it harder. Let's go 2 to the right and then 2 to the left. Okay. Work with it, whichever level feels comfortable. If it's too difficult with the weights, then put the weights down. Okay, you can do it easily with either. If you want to pop them down, then we're going to go back without the weights. Pick the level that feels right for you. We're aiming for it to feel around a 13 on the RPE scale. Somewhat hard. If it's getting too difficult, pop the weights down or take the arms out and just take it into that step. We've got another 20 seconds. Okay, we've got 5 more seconds. Brilliant. Next one then, we're back into the lunge. But this time, as we lunge backwards, what I want you to do is try and raise the arms up. So we're doing a back lunge with a front raise. If it's too difficult, hold on to the chair and just take it into that back lunge or the back step. Okay, if you can, let's do the lunge with the raise. Alternating those legs, keeping the feet roughly hip distance apart. Like I say, if it gets a bit difficult, just take it to a step back, just tapping the toes behind. But if you can, try and push that knee just slightly down to the floor, that back knee. Keeping your chest upright on this one. And we're almost there, we've got 10 seconds left. If it gets too difficult with the arms, take the arms down by your sides. If you want to make it harder, you can add the weight into the arms. Okay, so we're back into that rest. Now you should feel a bit warmer, I'm definitely feeling a bit warmer. So the next one that we're going to do is the chest press, okay? So we're going to push forwards and backwards, trying to get that heel tap in at the same time. Okay, so let's bring those hands up and let's start. You don't have to use the weights if it's too much, but if it was a bit easy the last time round, try and add a weight in this time. Keeping those arms around shoulder height or lower if you need to. And if you've started out with a weight and it gets too difficult, you can pop the weights down and you can do it without the weight, just simply pushing the arms backwards and forwards. You can still get a good workout with that. We've got 10 seconds left. Okay, we're into the next rest, and the next exercise we're going to go back to is the bum kick with the bicep curl. Now if you can do on this one, you can make it harder by adding the weights in this time. See how you find it, judge it on the RPE scale. If it was too hard last time, don't add the weights in. Okay, let's go right leg up, curling those arms. You can always take the weights out if it gets too difficult. Be sensible, listen to the body. Just curl the leg to wherever it's comfortable with the knee. We're halfway through. We've got another 20 seconds left. Pick that level, so if it's getting a bit too difficult, put the weights down. If you need to, just take it into the butt kick without the bicep curl. And 1. Okay. We're back into that next rest period. So we're going to take it into the march or the jog again this time, whichever you feel comfortable. We're going to drive with those arms. I'm going to have a quick sip of my water. Okay, let's start then. So we can jog on the spot, we can march on the spot, we can walk up and down a hallway or a living room or whatever space you've got available. If the march is too easy, pick the pace up a little bit. Trying to drive with those arms. Again, if you want to make this a bit harder with the march, you can hold some weights in the hands as we're doing it. So we've got various levels on this. We can do a march with no weights, a march with weights, a light jog without weights, just nice and light on the toes, at whatever level you feel comfortable at, or you can pick the pace up on the jog. Pick your own level. Remember, we're aiming for that somewhat hard. We don't want to be pushing much harder than that. And there we go, we're back into that rest. So keep those feet moving. It's going to prevent that heart rate from dropping too quickly and any dizziness. Okay, I'm going to keep hold of the weights because we're going to do that front press again, that front raise, sorry. So we did the front raise with the step. Let's try it this time with the step if you can do. Okay, so we're going up and down. Stepping forwards and backwards. If it's too difficult with the weights, take the weights out. If you need to, just march on the spot as you're doing it. If it's a bit difficult to coordinate, that's fine. We're just trying to keep the feet moving at the same time. And we've got 20 seconds left. And 5 seconds. And we're back into that rest. Take some nice deep breaths. The next exercise we're going to do is going to be the half jack. So same again as last time. We're going to step to the side, pushing the arm over the top or forwards if it's more comfortable. Let's start with the right leg then, and we'll go out. If you want to make it harder, you can hold a small weight for this one, so we can take the weights over the head. But we don't want a heavy weight for this one when we're working overhead. We only want a light weight. So again, pick that level that suits you. And if it does get a bit too difficult with the weights over the head, you can pop the weights back down. We can work through these levels. You haven't got to pick one and stay with it for the entire time. Or if you do this workout again, next time you do it, then maybe try and add a weight in. We've got 10 seconds left. Almost there. Okay, next one then we're going to take it back into the wall press. So we've done this several times now, so you all should know what we're doing on this one. Hands at shoulder height if we're doing it on the wall, or a bit lower if you're doing it off a worktop. Let's take those feet just that little bit further back now. So if you did it first of all with your toes in, let's take them just a little bit further back. So we're pushing a little bit more weight through the toes. Let's begin. So elbows go out. We're stopping just a couple of inches before the wall. We're not banging the face or the nose into the wall. Again, pick that level that suits you. If you start a bit closer and it feels a bit too easy, take the feet a little bit further back. And again, we can always change through, so if it's a bit too difficult with the feet further back, bring the feet closer in. Or if you've started resting on a countertop and it's a bit too difficult, then move up to the wall and put the hands at shoulder height. Let's keep that going. We've got 5 more seconds. Brilliant. Okay, we're almost there now, just a few more to go. So the next one we're going to do is the step up again with the bicep curl. So let's try and add the weights in this time if we didn't use them last time. Okay, so starting with the right leg, curling the arms up. We'll do 30 seconds of that, then we'll switch to the left leg. Let's go. If it gets difficult to coordinate, take the arms down beside you. If you haven't got a step at home for this one, we can still do this with a step on the floor. You haven't got to use that step up box. Let's switch the leg to the left leg now. So we're leading with the left, bringing the right leg through. Almost there. Brilliant, okay. So let's put those weights back down and we're now going back to the calf raise. So let's try this time, the calf raise with the knee raise. So if you need to hold on, hold on. Let's raise onto the toes, lift that knee through. Raise onto the toes, lift the other knee. Let's start and raise the right knee first. Just lifting the knee to wherever's comfortable. You haven't got to lift it too high if it hurts. Onto the toes and back down. Knee up, knee down. Pick a pace that suits you. If it's too much to do this, then you can either just do the knee raise or you can just do the calf raise. Okay, whichever suits you, pick that level. We're halfway. And then we've got one more to finish, and then we're into that cool down. You don't have to hold on to the chair if you don't wish to for this one, as long as you're balanced enough and you're not going to wobble over. Okay, perfect. So we've got one last rest and one last exercise before we cool down. So we're back into that step with the knee drive, okay? So start with your feet together, left foot goes forward, right knee drives through, left foot taps back, right knee drives through, okay? If you want to hold a weight in your hands, you can do. Let's begin then. So knee goes through, right knee is driving, left foot is tapping forwards and backwards. You don't have to use the weights for these ones. If you want to make it harder, hold the small weights in your hands. And we're simply moving the arms a little bit forwards and backwards. Okay, so we're on 30 seconds, so we'll switch legs and let's drive. I nearly went with the wrong leg then. Let's drive that left knee through. Again, if it gets too difficult, pop the weights down, or take it into a smaller move. You don't have to do such a stride and such a drive. And you can still do this one holding onto a chair if you need to. Perfect, okay. So that's it then. We've done the main part of the workout and we're back into the cool down. So really, really important that we have a steady cool down. That was a difficult workout today. I'm sure you felt that your breathing was a bit faster, you felt a bit warmer, a bit sweaty. I know I did. So we need to bring that back down nice and steadily now. Okay, we don't want a sudden stop. So let's start then with a gentle march. So we're bringing the pace down again nice and steadily with the cool down. Really important when you're on certain cardiac medications. If we stop all of a sudden, the blood pressure and the heart rate can drop really quickly. You can feel a bit dizzy and a bit faint. We don't need that after exercise. We also want to get rid of the adrenaline that's built up when you've exercised. Bring everything back down nice and steady. So we're just having a light swing with the arms, just lifting the feet a little bit off the floor. We're not power marching now. Breathing nice and steadily on this now. Breathing rate should start to come back down whilst we're cooling down. Okay, so as we're marching, let's take 10 shoulder rolls back. There's 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1 more. That's 10. Okay, let's do 10 forwards. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1 more. That's 10. Okay, let's give the arms a little bit of a shake. And now let's take it into the heel dig with the bicep curl. Okay, so we're slowing the pace down a little bit. We're not holding a weight for this one. We're just having a little stretch of the calves whilst we're doing it. Remember, the warm-up should start to feel lighter. It shouldn't still feel hard. If it feels hard, take the arms out and take it into the heel tap. If you need to sit down, do it sitting down. Let's keep those feet moving. Some nice deep breaths. And then in a moment, we're going to take the arms by the sides and just keep the heel tap going. Okay, so let's tap the heels and just rest the arms beside you now. Gradually slowing the pace. Remember, we want it to feel quite light and not too difficult. This should feel easier than the workout you've just done. Keeping those feet moving, that breathing nice and relaxed. And then in a moment, we're going to take it back into the side tap. And we'll do a slight side raise at the same time. Okay, so if we start with the right leg first, let's go out and back. So we're raising the arms and lowering them, but we're not doing this too fast. We're not stepping too far out, we're just taking it to wherever's comfortable. This should start to feel nice and easy. We've done a really good workout there, so we want to have a good cool down to finish. And then again in a moment, we're going to take the arms by the sides and just take it into the side tap. Okay, so let's take the arms by the sides and we'll just go into the side tap now. feel your breathing rate come down a little bit now. Heart rate's gradually slowing down. Just tapping those toes out to the side. Again, if you need to hold onto a chair for a bit of support or balance, please do so. Pick a pace that suits you. You haven't got to go too fast, but equally, we don't want to go too slow if it's far too easy. We want to be around 11 on the RPE scale. Okay, let's go back into that march now then. So we're bringing the pace down just a little bit more. And as we're doing the march, let's do 10 shoulder shrugs this time. So we're imagining we're going to touch the ears with the shoulders. Okay, let's go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, 9 and one last one. That's 10. Okay, let's give the arms a little bit of a shake. Let's just keep that march going for a little bit longer. Just nice and relaxed in the arms. Okay, and then we're going to take the heel back into those heel digs that we've done a few times now. Just forwards and backwards. Just nice and light. Very good. And then in a moment, let's take it into a back tap. So we're just going to tap back and into the middle. So we're not lunging on this one, it's just a nice gentle step backwards. Back on the toe, bringing it in, alternating the feet. Okay, keep the breathing nice and relaxed throughout all of these. We're almost done. We'll just do that for a few more seconds and then we're going to go into some wrist rotations. Okay, so as we bring the feet back together, we'll just take it into a very light march or even just a wiggle with the toes. Okay, and as we do that, let's do 5 wrist rotations. That's 3 and 4 and 5. Let's do 5 each way on the feet. Hold on to something if you're not very balanced. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's go other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Put the foot down. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's go other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Perfect, we're all done. So that one was a bit more strenuous. We've pushed on a little bit more. We've upped the intensity and we've upped the exercise time. It's not uncommon after you've done a harder workout for you to be a little bit achy the day after or 2 days after. That's quite normal. The more you do these exercises, the stronger you're going to be and the fitter you're going to get. If you found that too easy still, then we'll move on to the next session and you'll see us in session 6. Hope you've enjoyed that. See ya!